Dare to be different. Dare to be unique. Dare to hide and dare to seek. I believed that this was the challenge that God had given to me that day. Dare to be different. Dare to focus on God. Dare to be unique. Dare to listen to God, not caring what people think. Dare to hide. Let go of my worries, concerns and distractions, and dare to seek. Seek only God. Focus on Him. Wow, I thought, I accept that challenge. So I continued my poem. Yeah, I dare to be different. I dare to be unique. Yeah, I dare to hide and I dare to seek. I wondered if the others in the group had accepted the challenge. So I finished my poem with, do you dare to be different? Do you dare to be unique? Do you dare to hide? Do you dare to seek? I thought that on that day I'd learned a lesson and that I was going on to be Martha. And then, when we were asked to do this service, I busily began the preparations for the service. I usually worry, who am I again, and plan things during the night, and after a few sleepless nights, I'd prepared a PowerPoint. I discussed it with Aid, and together we fine-tuned it. I took it to the house group to see what they thought. We planned the order of service, and I thought we were ready to go. So let's begin. Can we have slide 1? Yeah. Is the Bible relevant today, we said. So this was what Aid and I and the house group were considering. Can we still apply the words and the messages to our lives today? So we looked at what Martha did. So Martha opened the door to Jesus. She welcomed him into her own. Martha thought she did that. Martha was distracted by all the preparations that she thought had to be made. And she even questioned Jesus. Don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work all by myself? And then she even told Jesus what she thought should happen. Tell my sister to help me. And then we looked at slide 4. No, we didn't. We looked at slide 3. And we looked at what Mary did. What Mary did was beautiful. Mary just sat at the Lord's feet and she just listened to what he said. Then we looked at slide 4. We looked at what Jesus said. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. We looked at several other things and completed the PowerPoint for today. I was pleased. Yes. That's the message for today, I thought. But a couple of nights ago, I went to bed, and before I turned off the light, I noticed that Emily had left some notebooks that she no longer wanted. And I smiled at this one. It says, I'm a daydreamer and a night thinker. I slept until about 3 a.m. that day, and I was awoken by a word from God. The word was focus. God showed me that my focus for this morning had been about me. I still wanted to be a Martha, bringing my agenda to you today. I forgot to listen to God and carried on with my own preparations. God began to speak to me, and I had to get out of bed and write down what he said to me in the book that Emily had left in our bedroom. Once again, Jesus called me to be less of a Martha and more of a Mary. He showed me that I was currently acting just like Martha in the Bible story. One example that he gave me, that we'd recently invited friends to our home to have a meal with us. I'd already begun my preparations to welcome our friends into our home by frantically cleaning the house. And I'd spent other sleepless nights thinking about what we could eat. Why? Because I wanted to impress them. Let's just go back to the PowerPoint and see what Jesus said to Martha. And that's what he was saying to me that night. It was exactly the same message for me. And even as I wrote that simple poem, in the time that we learned about Martha and Mary, I knew that I'd really not accepted the challenge. I'd said the words, I hadn't accepted the challenge. It was no coincidence that Emily gave me this book, saying that I'm a daydreamer and a night thinker. In the daytime, I have a lot of Martha moments. And in the night time, I have a lot of Mary moments. I want to be a day thinker and a night dreamer. I want less Martha moments and more Mary moments. God changed my plans for this morning, and I've been obedient and have stepped out in faith to say what God has said to me, what he wanted me to say. His word was focus. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Jesus changed my focus today, and this morning has not been brought to you by Joy Page. I'm pleased to say that yet again I've learned a lesson and have taken my initiative from Mary and not Martha. I have focused on Jesus and have let go of myself to allow God to speak through me. Jesus called me to be more like Mary and challenged me to be different and unique. Sorry to the house group for changing our agenda, but I know that I've brought God's agenda today. Looking at the screen, it struck me that when you sit at Jesus' feet and see love gazing back at you, that you begin to discover your unique identity and your unique purpose in life. This week, my challenge is to be still in the presence of the Lord and to remember the love in his eyes as I gaze at him and as he gazes back. He told me to focus, and I believe that that's his message to us all. I think that I was reminded to focus and think about my poem because I knew the challenge or dare that I'd been given to focus on God, to listen to God, to let go of worrying distractions, to seek only God, to sit at his feet and be still. And I said that I'd taken it, and here I am yet again having to rethink. If anyone else needs to rethink this week, maybe the word focus is for you too. How about you taking up the challenge to focus on God, to listen to God, to let go of worrying distractions, to seek only God, to gaze into his eyes and discover your unique identity and purpose in life. So, who are you? It looks like Jesus believed that Martha needlessly worried about many things. And I expect that he still thinks that about us today. To go back to the question, is the Bible still relevant today? I wonder what you think. In your groups, it just asks you to consider what you think, and there's a few little questions there. If you opened your door to Jesus, what would your first thoughts be? What things might you worry about that could distract you away from Jesus? Do you sometimes feel that others get it right with Jesus and that you need to impress Jesus more? If you opened your door to Jesus, would you feel that you needed to put some things right before you could relax? Do you think that Jesus wants us to put things right before we invite him in? If you opened the door to Jesus, would you invite him in without any concerns at all and just sit at his feet? Let us close today with the story of two women from the Bible to consider if the Bible is still relevant in our lives today. And I just ask, as you watch, I would ask you to think if there are any challenges or messages that are relevant to you in your life.
Thank you, Joy. I think that message right at the end where it says we want a Mary heart but Martha hands, we can so easily get swept up with our Martha stuff to do. And I know certainly for me that I justify myself because those things need doing. And also, you know, there's all that stuff in James. It says you've got to work as well. And so let's be honest, I let myself get swept up into doing rather than sitting sometimes. And maybe setting my priorities the wrong way round. I think I'd like us to spend just a few moments at our tables. There were a couple of questions when we were talking about this as a group together. The first question that you may find easy to answer for yourself, or if not, ask the person sitting next to you to answer, is would you say you're more of a Martha or a Mary? Okay, so perhaps have a think in your tables. We'll just talk about this. Would you say you're more of a Martha or Mary? And then let's take on board that word that Joy has given us and focus and say, if there's one thing that you could change, one thing this week, one step you could change, one choice you could make that will change your focus one step nearer to having a Mary heart then what would that be? And discuss amongst yourselves, what things could we be doing? What things should we be doing? What would improve our focus? So if we took that word into our hearts, it's all very good to hear it with our ears, but something needs to change in here, doesn't it? For it to be acted out and for that to be lodged. And if we want to give it real weight, we need to spend a few moments now to give it a bit of time to think, what are we going to do about it? So we're going to do that for a few moments, and I've lost my running order, but I'll tell you what's going to happen after that so everybody knows what's coming. We'll do that at our tables, and then I'll call time, and Brenda and Richard will come up and lead us in prayer. Okay, is that all right? So, are you more of a Martha or Mary, and what thing will you do to change your focus?